We often talk about information overload, don't we? It feels like we're constantly just uh, swimming in data, news, opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's relentless.
But what if the real challenge isn't just the sheer amount of stuff coming at us, but how we actually, understand it, how we process it and relate to it inside our own heads?
That's a really crucial distinction, I think. It's not just what we take in, but how we internalize it, how we identify with it,
Mm.
and ultimately how it ends up shaping our reality. And that's
That's it.
precisely what we're going to dive into today.
Yes. Today we're tackling a truly ancient text. I mean, really ancient. And it grapples with these very questions, offering this incredibly detailed map of the mind and, well, reality itself.
Mm-hmm.
Our deep dive is based on excerpts from the Mahāvagga. It's an ancient Pali text, but honestly, at its core, it feels almost like a rigorous manual for spiritual psychology.
It really does. And we're zeroing in on sections that explore these profound concepts like views, paths to liberation, different meditation practices, and the really intricate workings of karma and destiny.
It's a text that just meticulously dissects that inner landscape.
Absolutely.
So our mission today, let's unpack what these concepts truly mean. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and maybe discover how these ancient insights offer a surprisingly practical shortcut. Maybe shortcut isn't the right word, but a way to be better informed about your own mind and the world.
A clearer lens, perhaps.
Yeah, clearer lens. Get ready for some hopefully illuminating moments.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so let's start with what the text calls the sticky business of views. In Pali, that's Diṭṭhi. When this text talks about a view, what exactly are we getting into? It sounds like it's more than just, having an opinion.
Oh, it's much more than that. The text defines Diṭṭhi not merely as an opinion, no. It calls it an obsession of grasping.
Obsession of grasping.
Yeah, it's about holding on to a belief, an idea, even just a perception, with this really tight, almost possessive grip. It's not just what you believe, but that deep, clinging way you hold on to it.
Okay, that really clarifies it. So it's less a thought and more a mental posture, a clenching almost.
Exactly, a kind of mental clenching. And the text just dissects this with remarkable precision. It's quite amazing.
How deep does it actually go into the layers of how these beliefs take hold?
Well, it's astonishingly thorough. The source identifies 8 underlying bases, 18 ways these obsessions actually manifest themselves, 16 specific types of views, and then, get this, an incredible 300 attachments related to them.
300? Wow.
300. The sheer detail, listing hundreds of these subtle attachments, it really hammers home how pervasive our urge is to identify with everything. It's not just the big ideas, but all the tiny, unconscious ways we say, this is mine, about absolutely everything we experience.
That's quite a spectrum. So this grasping obsession, how does it actually show up in our daily experience? What does it feel like to be caught in one of these views?
The source explains it as constantly holding on to the idea, this is mine, this I am, this is myself.
Right, that core identification.
Exactly. And it's not just about abstract thoughts. It applies to everything you experience. Your physical body, rupe, your feelings, vedana, perceptions, sanya, your intentions or volitions, sahar, and even consciousness itself in
They're
Niche.
all components of experience.
All of them. And it extends to your senses, sight, hearing, and even fundamental elements like earth, water, fire, air, even mental things like meditation objects, kasas, even those can become objects of this grasping.
Wow. Yeah.
It's this pervasive sense of ownership and identification that we just unconsciously apply to pretty much all phenomena.
So it's about deeply identifying with every single aspect of our experience, from the most tangible, like our body, to the most subtle, like consciousness. Okay, this brings up a really important question. What fuels these views? Where do they actually come from?
The text outlines 8 key bases or conditions that give rise to these views.
Okay.
These include the aggregates of existence themselves, our body, feelings, perceptions, volitions, consciousness, but also things like fundamental ignorance, sensory contact, perception, thinking, and interestingly, improper attention, having bad companions.
Bad companions, really?
Yes, like friends or influences who reinforce wrong views, and even just listening to others' voices, taking on their perspectives uncritically.
Huh. That's a powerful insight. It suggests our worldview isn't purely self-generated at all. It's heavily influenced.
Very much so. It shows how our deeply held beliefs are often shaped by external factors and internal processes we might not even be fully aware of.
Which brings us to where the text gets particularly, stark. The danger of what it calls gratifying views.
Indeed. A Diṭṭhi, that's one of the 16 types of views mentioned. The view of gratification.
Gratification.
It's the clinging to the perceived pleasure or satisfaction we get from things. Think of it like being so captivated by how sweet a fruit tastes that you completely ignore the fact it might be growing on a poisonous tree. You're just hooked on the pleasure.
And the text doesn't exactly mince words about the consequences of holding on to that kind of view.
No, it doesn't. It states very clearly that if you're stuck in this kind of wrong view, your destiny is stark. Hell or animal rebirth. Pretty blunt.
Wow, it's direct.
It is. And it uses this powerful analogy to illustrate it. Just as a bitter seed, like neem or bitter gourd, will always produce bitter fruit, no matter how much effort you put into cultivating it.
Right.
So, too, will actions rooted in this wrong view inevitably lead to unpleasant results. It's a vivid reminder that the fundamental quality of our views profoundly shapes our entire experience, guiding us towards specific outcomes, whether we like it or not.
That certainly highlights the pervasive nature and the significant impact of these views.
Okay, so clinging to these views is the core problem. What's the ancient text's answer? How do we find true freedom from that mental grip? That brings us to the path to true freedom.
Right. The solution presented is the concept of Magga. It translates as path.
The path.
But it's more than just a route you follow. It's also described as the cause or the reason for abandoning those wrong views we just talked about. It's the means for strengthening wholesome qualities, removing mental defilements, purifying insight, stabilizing the mind, and ultimately realizing truth.
So it's a comprehensive framework.
Exactly. A whole framework for mental and spiritual transformation.
This sounds like a complete training program for the mind. And its centerpiece, for many people familiar with this tradition, is the Noble Eightfold Path.
Precisely. This path has 8 interconnected components. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration.
All working together. Yes, and what's fascinating is how each component really reinforces the others. Right view, for instance, seeing things as they truly are, that naturally leads you toward right intention, making sure your aspirations are wholesome, not based on those gratifying views. It's a totally integrated system. Progress in one area supports all the others.
So it's clearly not a single step then, but more like a progression.
Yeah.
Different stages towards liberation. The text details different Magga moments or paths.
That's right. It's seen as a gradual unfolding. The source details 4 distinct path moments, stages of realization.
Okay, what are they?
First, there's stream entry. This is where the path really begins to abandon that core self-view, the deep sense of I am this fixed self, along with doubt and attachment to just performing rites and rituals without understanding.
Right, the beginning of letting go.
Then the once-returner path. This stage significantly weakens the grosser forms of sensory desire and ill will.
Getting lighter.
Exactly. Next is the non-returner path, which completely eradicates even the subtle forms of sensory desire and ill will.
Wow, completely.
And finally, the Arhat path. This is the culmination, abandoning all remaining attachments, desire for refined states of existence, whether in form or formless realms, conceit, restlessness, and even the root of ignorance itself. It's the full release, complete freedom.
That's quite a transformative journey laid out there. What's fascinating, though, is the sheer number of liberations mentioned vimokkha. You said the text mentions 68 different types.
Yes, 68, which I think illustrates the sheer vastness and maybe the many different flavors or expressions of liberation. But at its core, the text does point to 3 primary kinds, the fundamental modes of letting go.
And those are?
They are emptiness, sunyanato, signless, anamito, and undirected, apatita.
Okay, emptiness, signless, undirected. Can you maybe unpack those a bit? What do they mean in practice? How might someone experience them?
Sure. Let's take emptiness. This is the liberation that arises from truly seeing things as empty of self or what belongs to self.
Connecting back to the views.
Exactly. It means genuinely letting go of that deep this is mine feeling we talked about earlier, the grasping. It's recognizing that nothing in our entire field of experience inherently belongs to some fixed, permanent self.
Okay. And signless.
Signless liberation is achieved by not creating mental signs or characteristics of things. Imagine you see a delicious-looking cake. Your mind might instantly slap a sign on it. Pleasant, desirable, I want that.
Right. It happens automatically.
Signless liberation is about seeing the cake just as it is, colors, shapes, textures, without adding that immediate mental label or sign of desire or aversion if you didn't like cake. It's freedom from being instantly caught by appearances and our reactions to them.
Fascinating. So not getting hooked by the label. And the third one, undirected.
Undirected liberation comes from not making wishes or aspirations concerning things. It's about letting go of that constant mental commentary of if only.
If only things were different.
Precisely. If only this would last. Or I wish that hadn't happened, or I hope this happens next. It's about accepting reality as it unfolds without needing it to constantly conform to our desires and projections. Letting go of the wanting things to be other than they are.
So how do these different types of liberation connect to, say, meditation or deeper contemplative practice? Are there specific ways of looking at reality that lead to each one?
Absolutely. The text explicitly ties them together. For example, by reflecting deeply on impermanence, anicca, the fleeting, changing nature of all things, one is liberated by the signless liberation. You stop clinging to the sign or appearance of permanence.
Because you see that it's always changing.
Exactly. By reflecting on suffering, dukkha, the inherent unsatisfactoriness or stress in conditioned existence, one is liberated by the undirected liberation. You stop wishing for things to be different because you understand their inherent nature includes unsatisfactoriness.
You let go of the if only.
Right. And by reflecting on non-self, anatta, the lack of any fixed inherent essence in anything, one is liberated by the emptiness liberation. You let go of the idea that anything is truly mine or me because you see there's no solid self there to own anything.
That really clarifies the link. And it raises an important question for you, the listener. How does your own current way of looking at things, maybe you tend to focus more on impermanence or maybe suffering or non-self, how might that influence the kind of freedom you experience?
That's a great point. The emphasis shapes the outcome.
And the text even categorizes liberated people based on which of these factors is most dominant in their practice, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It speaks of different types.
Like what?
Well, there's the faith-liberated person. This is where profound faith, saddha, is the preeminent factor, often cultivated through contemplating impermanence and trusting the path. Then there's the body witness. Here, deep concentration, samadhi, is preeminent. They have a direct, felt, embodied experience of the results of the practice, often developed through contemplating suffering and its cessation directly.
A very visceral understanding.
Exactly. And finally, the attainer of view. For this person, wisdom, panya, is preeminent, typically arising through contemplating non-self. This leads to a direct, profound intellectual understanding that completely permeates their being.
That's a remarkably clear breakdown of the different ways freedom can manifest and be attained. Okay, so having explored the paths and the different flavors of liberation, the text then offers insights into how we cultivate the mind, the actual practices involved. Let's move to cultivating the mind and discarding the dross.
Sounds good.
The text talks quite a bit about mindfulness of breathing and upon it as a source of incredible insight. How does that work?
Well, the text makes a pretty bold claim. It states that practicing mindfulness of breathing properly can generate 200 knowledges related to concentration.
200 knowledges just from watching the breath.
Apparently so. It suggests that this isn't just about calming down, though that's part of it. Deep, sustained concentration on the breath can unlock an incredible range of specific, actionable insights into how reality functions. It can reveal the subtle processes of mind and body, developing this acute sensitivity to their arising and passing away moment by moment.
That's a powerful endorsement for such a seemingly simple practice. But it's not always smooth sailing, is it? The text also details the obstacles and, conversely, the aids to this kind of cultivation.
That's right. It doesn't shy away from the difficulties. It lists the classic obstacles, often called the hindrances to liberation, or nivarta. These are things like sensory desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, doubt.
The usual suspects that clutter the mind.
Exactly. And ignorance and general dissatisfaction, too. It also mentions that even within the breathing practice itself, the mind can be subtly defiled, these are called upakilissa, by things like the mind wandering off internally into thought or externally towards distractions, or even developing a subtle craving for the breath experience itself.
Even craving the practice. So what helps us overcome these and find that deeper, clearer focus?
To counter these, the text lists supportive factors, things that lead towards oneness of mind, or ekata.
Like what?
Factors like renunciation, letting go of distracting desires, non-ill will or goodwill, cultivating a perception of inner light or clarity, non-distraction itself, developing discernment of the teachings, Dhamma, knowledge, and even cultivating joy in the practice.
So it's a two-pronged approach, removing the bad stuff and nurturing the good stuff.
Precisely. It's a comprehensive approach to mental purification. Cultivating the mind requires both weeding out the impurities and actively fertilizing the wholesome states.
That leads perfectly into another really engaging concept the text discusses, the pith of the holy life, or mentapaya. It uses this vivid analogy, doesn't it? Likening the spiritual journey to discarding dregs to drink the pure pith, or essence.
Yes, it's a fantastic metaphor, really practical. It stands for this process of continuous purification.
So the pith is the good stuff.
The pith refers to all the wholesome qualities and practices that genuinely nourish spiritual development, things like faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom, the factors of the Eightfold Path itself. It's what truly sustains you on the journey, the real substance.
And the dregs are, well, the stuff we need to get rid of.
Exactly. The dregs are the impurities, the obstacles that must be discarded. Things like fakelessness, laziness, heedlessness or lack of mindfulness, mental restlessness, ignorance, and of course, those wrong views we started with.
It's about filtering.
Constantly filtering, yes. The text highlights that this pith is the very essence of meaning, the essence of the teaching, and the essence of liberation. It profoundly emphasizes focusing our energy on what genuinely supports spiritual growth and consciously letting go of whatever pollutes or hinders it, like sifting flour, getting rid of the clumps to get to the fine stuff.
The great image. Okay, moving on now to our final segment. This tackles the far-reaching impact of karma and destiny. Now, karma, or kama, is a topic many people have heard about, but the Mahāvagga explores it with, again, incredible depth and nuance.
It really does. It goes far beyond simple, what goes around comes around. It examines karma not just as an action, but in terms of its results, the vipaka, and how these results unfold across past, present, and future.
So it looks at timing, whether the result has already happened, is happening now, or is still to come.
Exactly. It sees it as this dynamic, unfolding process over vast stretches of time, potentially.
And it categorizes karma in so many different ways, too.
Yeah.
It's definitely not just good karma and bad karma in this text.
Not at all. It makes much finer distinctions. Actions are analyzed as wholesome or unwholesome, sure, but also as blameworthy or blameless, dark or bright, actions that lead specifically to pleasure, or actions that lead specifically to suffering.
So many shades.
Many shades. The clear implication is that all our intentional actions, even seemingly small ones, weave this incredibly complex web of results. These results unfold over time, influencing our experiences in really intricate, specific ways. It's a deep dive into the very mechanics of cause and effect of consequence.
Okay, so this is where destiny comes into the picture. How does the text specifically link our actions, our karma, to our destinations? Gati, which refers to types of rebirth or future states of existence.
The text states quite clearly that whether one is reborn in what it calls a knowledge-associated state, think maybe a fortunate human birth conducive to wisdom, or perhaps certain types of deity realms or a non-knowledge-associated state, depends entirely on specific sets of underlying causes or hetu.
Causes, meaning the roots of the action.
Yes, the mental roots like greed, hatred, delusion, or their opposites, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion, that are active and dominant at the crucial moment when the karma ripens, particularly at death, which influences the next rebirth.
So the quality of mind is key.
Critically key. It highlights that the quality of our mind and our intentional actions directly determines the quality of our future experiences, quite literally shaping where consciousness might re-arise.
So it's definitely not random chance. The quality of our mind and actions really does act like an internal compass, determining the direction of future experiences.
That's the profound implication here. It underscores this fundamental principle of ethical cause and effect, extending potentially beyond just this single life. It offers a very systematic, almost logical way of understanding why certain experiences arise for certain beings based on the deep mental roots of their past volitional actions.
Wow, okay. Well, today we've gone on a really incredible deep dive into the Mahāvagga. We've explored how our views can bind us, how specific paths can lead towards liberation, looked at practices like mindfulness of breathing that cultivate profound wisdom, and touched on the far-reaching impact of karma on our destiny.
We really have, and we've seen how this ancient text provides this incredibly detailed, almost scientific framework for understanding the mechanisms of the mind and the fundamental nature of reality. It's truly a systematic approach to spiritual psychology, mapping that inner world with remarkable precision.
The thing is, this isn't just abstract philosophy, is it? The precision with which these concepts are defined and interconnected offers such a unique lens for observing your own inner landscape right now.
Absolutely.
It provides a kind of blueprint for understanding the consequences of clinging, the real benefits of intentional practice, and the nature of true, unshakable freedom. It feels like a deeply practical guide, despite its age.
Indeed. It offers a very pragmatic map, you could say, for navigating the inherent complexities of existence. It suggests that really understanding these principles is key to actively shaping a more wholesome and liberated experience for ourselves.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this deep dive, here's something to maybe mull over. What dregs, perhaps, are you holding on to in your own life? Maybe certain ingrained views, certain habits, ways of reacting, things that might be preventing you from drinking the pure pith, that essence of wisdom and liberation the text talks about.
And perhaps how might a deeper appreciation of cause and effect, as outlined so meticulously here, encourage you to consciously cultivate more wholesome roots, more beneficial intentions and actions in your daily life starting right now?